Native people, Native culture, Native knowledge. Hi, I'm Jeanie Greene, bringing you award-winning Heartbeat Alaska.
Bringing you national and international Native news, this is award-winning Heartbeat Alaska, the premier Native voice in Native programming.
There's a heartbeat, louder than thunder, revolution is in the air. There's a heartbeat deep inside our mother. Are you too cool to
Now, with Heartbeat Alaska, here's Jeanie Greene.
Hello everyone and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. I'm Jeanie Greene, your hostess. Well, this is the first program of Heartbeat Alaska in the year 2000. And we take a look at some of our very first programs. We began airing Heartbeat Alaska in 1992 and we'll bring you a few of those segments. We'll also take a look today at your favorite music videos and we'll take a peek at some of the interviews on Heartbeat Alaska that were aired on King TV and Television Northern Canada. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we move on though, I want to thank our sponsors. These businesses, agencies, and corporations that care enough about you to make Heartbeat Alaska possible.
Contact Heartbeat Alaska, call 907-563-7440 or try us at our website at www.jeaniegreene.com.
Hey everyone, help us welcome one of our new sponsors, Wave Wholesale Company, your one-stop supply source for village retail stores, food service customers, and government agencies. Welcome aboard, Wave. Heartbeat Alaska thanks Executive Suite Hotel, the official hotel for Heartbeat Alaska. When you come to Anchorage, please stop in and say hello. Thank you for sponsoring us, Executive Suite Hotel.
Heartbeat Alaska is made possible with financial support from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska, providing quality health care service to Alaskans since 1957. We're here, we're with you.
People call me all the time or walk up to me on the street and ask me about Heartbeat Alaska, how we got started. Well, we'll tell you a little bit about that through the eyes of other cameramen and other TV networks. They did some stories on Heartbeat Alaska's in the past, and we'll share them with you now.
Outspoken, and she doesn't know the meaning of the word no. She's Jeanie Greene, the host, writer, producer, editor, and creator of the weekly TV series Heartbeat Alaska. Her program is seen by Aboriginal viewers across North America. Last year, we sent one of our producers to Anchorage, Alaska to see how she does it.
It's been a rough trip, but it's been the best, most rewarding trip.
The show Heartbeat Alaska, the woman Jeanie Greene. The story is how one woman has brought the world of natives from the mouths of natives through the eyes of natives. She writes, edits, and produces Heartbeat Alaska every week. Jeanie's public performances began at an early age. These days would mark the inevitable creation of Heartbeat Alaska.
Well, I was 7 years old in Sitka, Alaska, and they first got TV a long time ago. And I had taken ballet lessons on my own, unbeknownst to my parents. And when they finally found out, they were glad. But I was raised among in a family that really encouraged and applauded and didn't laugh at our silly little antics as we performed, and that's always stayed with me. But I've done theater. I've got a degree in theater from University of Alaska Anchorage with a minor in anthropology, and I've done like 50 plays and produced and owned dinner theater, directed plays and wrote plays, and created Heartbeat Alaska, which is a whole half hour of news instead of just the 2 or 3 5-minute packages. We're not out there pounding heads. We're not out there saying, you hurt us and we are hurt and therefore we are in this situation. No, what I'm saying is we have endured and we can help you endure. There'd be a flagpole raising in their village, an elders conference, a basketball tournament. If it's important to the village, it's important to me. And I put it on, and that to me is news. As long as there are viewers that are willing to get video, I will use it.
For NADA, I'm Jeff Dorn. Must see.
Red's guest today is Jeanie Greene. And now let's join Red.
Welcome to Alaska Online. We've got a very, very special show for you today. In fact, I'm not sure how this show is going to end up, who's going to be interviewing who, but the fabulous Jeanie Greene, Heartbeat Alaska. I can hear those drums now. What cool things you've done for the people of Alaska and spreading the story globally. But for those of you, which are very few, that may not have seen Heartbeat Alaska, let's take a peek at the miracle that this young lady has made for a show. Why and how did you start it?
Why and how did I start Heartbeat Alaska? Yeah. Well, I had started with this show called Northern Lives. Okay. And it was just a news package twice a week in the bush, and they didn't allow it to be aired in Anchorage. And then finally, when the Anchorage natives were able to see Northern Lives, there was more of a demand because it started something new in the bush, and that's the concept of natives seeing natives as they see themselves, as opposed to how Western television, how the Western media sees them. So it gave people a chance to define themselves. I approached the television station where I was working, and I was saying, well, I'm getting more video now. And I had started asking for video, not because it was an ingenious idea, it was out of desperation. Where I worked, I had no cameraman. Where I worked, I had no video. So I got on the air one day and I said, if there's news in your village, if it's a flagpole raising, whatever, if it's news to you, it's news to me, send me video. And they started doing that. And after a while, it took a couple years before I started really getting video. People just weren't used to that. And when I started getting a lot of video, I decided I can do a half-hour program. Mm-hmm. And I was told that I was an actress, not a journalist, that it was out of my league. And so, you know, I just love the word no.
Yeah,
I just love the word no. It challenges me. And so I cleared out my apartment, and I bought secondhand equipment, and my little apartment on Lake Otis Boulevard in Anchorage, Alaska became the studio of Heartbeat Alaska. And it was born, a half-hour program. Then I started distributing it and getting news from all over.
Well, tell us about your background. Born in Sitka. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about what brought you to where you are today. Your enthusiasm, your love of your people, your love of your state. It just radiates all over the place.
That's really true. I think that if you met my family, you'd really understand, because they have a lot of ethnos, which is from God, enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of a love of life, and we were raised the Inupiaq way. I was encouraged. I used to go to movies. You've heard the story. It's this, but it's true. It really happens. When I was 3 years old, I used to go to movies in Sitka and come dancing down the street. And Nobody would laugh. Nobody would, not like you. You think it's funny, huh? But
I think it's beautiful.
But the Inupiaq way is not to laugh, but to encourage.
Oh, okay.
So there I was in all my little 3-year-old, 5-year-old glory, doing dances and doing things, and my parents would applaud and say, "That's very nice." They didn't laugh. And with that kind of affirmation, with that kind of encouragement, I decided when I was 3 that that's what I would like to do, that I can do this as well. And that's what I've done. I basically defined who I was since the day I was born, and took ballet lessons unbeknownst to my parents in Sitka, and I was actually on TV. When they first got TV in Sitka, we were the first live broadcast. Patty Nelson and I, my neighbor, did Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and on the first live show on TV in Sitka.
We're going to be right back and talk more about the worldwide implications.
Okay.
The people that you brought to Alaska.
Yeah, it is quite a thing. When I mentioned earlier that I had gotten on air and asked people to please send video in, and it wasn't out of some ingenious idea, it was out of desperation. I had no other video. And then when I saw the beauty of the video, and the beauty, I'm not talking about the broadcast quality or anything like that. I'm talking about the fact that that video was taken by the people that lived in the villages, taken by the natives. Native eyes look behind that camera. And also, it gives the native people something that they really haven't had much in the media, and that's control. If they don't want to take a video of someone's funny old house, they sure don't have to. And this is and I respect that. And also, when I do stories, I call the person that gives me the video. I try and call around and get a history from the native perspective, from their perspective. You know, how did the village begin? What was your history? And so, in that sense, that's the most important thing about Heartbeat Alaska are the videos that people send in to me. I mean, they're fascinating. There's stuff that normally wouldn't get on the news. This week in Heartbeat Alaska, we're going to have a couple brown bears that was in this front yard in Angoon, Alaska, and it's really fun. I mean, here it is. This is real. This is what Hollywood would like to, I mean, wouldn't it make a good movie? We live it. You know, in Angoon, brown bears coming up to the front yard, and people running around town, and old guys running up the road with their cameras trying to get away from the bears. It's good. And it's real life, you see? And that's what's fascinating is real life, not something that we commercialize or sounds like an infomercial, you know, but real life. To me, that's the most fascinating thing about our native cultures is people, the people that send in the videos. Actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, Brad, I just want to finish the story because it's not so much Rudolph. It's just the fact that you were back to your original question of how this came to be, and I think it really does start with your family and all the encouragement and never being discouraged. Being able to define who you are is really important, and not listen to the myths that other people put on you and that you eventually listen to yourself. It took me a long time, though, through high school. It was kind of hard. But I realized something really important. And when I became an adult, it's that you define how other people will react to you. It's like when I'm an actress, you know, I do stage work. But before I go on stage, I assume that I'm loved. And how can you miss? Okay? Yeah. How can you miss? You go on the stage, if you assume your audience loved you, you're fine. And you do a great job, and you love them back, and you give what you can. You see? And so when I went back to Seward, I just decided, well, I'm going to love these people. I don't care what their reaction is, because what they think of me is none of my business, and it was wonderful. And then I saw, whoa, it really was my problem. It wasn't them. It was my perception. And so I thought, whoa, that is an important thing to know. It's that you can own your own power. You decide you're going to be loved. And how could someone turn that away?
That's beautiful.
Right?
You got it.
It works.
It's worked for me, too, in life.
Has it really been?
Oh, yes.
Let's interview you.
Never mind interviewing
okay.
me. Now, not only is Heartbeat playing in Alaska, but maybe some of the people out there are not aware of the fact that it's in northern Canada, Greenland, Russia, southern United States, and I understand plans are afoot to air in London and in Orient. How do you put all this together?
How do I put it together?
Yeah, how do you make it happen? How did you get into all of those other places?
Well, the response to Heartbeat Alaska was very positive because people sent in videos. And it gave Native people a chance to see themselves, you know, to do what they do in regular life without having someone define them in negative ways.
Okay.
I put people at eating muktuk, and that's how we are. We don't apologize for it, and if you don't like it, change the
I
channel.
like muktuk.
Well, I'm sure you do, Red.
I've eaten a lot of muktuk.
Well, whether you like it or not, this is the, we put on the reality of rural Alaska, and we put on the reality of Native people without any apologizing, without trying to pretty anything up, without trying to explain ourselves away. There's no need for that. We don't have to. I think that is refreshing to people. And my viewers are not just natives. There are all colors of people. There's Korean families in Anchorage that sit in circles around the, I've seen it. I knocked on a door accidentally one day and opened the door and they're watching me. It was like, whoa. And it was so nice, all these people sitting around. But I think the appeal and how it is being accepted, because I can't force the show on anyone. And you said it was in the southern United States. We're in all 50 states. The appeal of the program, from what I hear from my viewers and from what I know in my heart, is that we don't try to be anything but who we are. We don't try to be slick. We don't try to be sexy. We don't try to be anything but this is who we are. We're sharing information with you. And we're sharing information with each other because we all are very interesting, aren't we?
Yes,
no matter
we
what color. Everyone's background is fascinating. John Hannah, the man that wrote the People magazine articles from Scotland, you should hear his story of his people. But there was not much at all on TV for Native people. And across Canada, they love Heartbeat Alaska. It's one of their most popular shows because they get to see Native Americans, they get to see the Athabascans from their area, they get to see the Slavi, they get to see all the different tribes. How did I do it? Well, I just call someone up and I say, I've got Native News, Heartbeat Alaska, here's a tape, check it out. If you like it, that's fine. But I like I said, no doesn't mean much to me. As a matter of fact, this month, in fact, with this next program, this Sunday night, we will be in the Pacific Northwest.
That's great.
And that's been tough.
We're going to take a quick break.
Oh, okay.
And then we come back. There's a lot of
We remain true to mirror the lives of our Native people in villages and reservations across America, Alaska, and Canada, like some of these stories from the very first program.
There are 5 to 10 men on a whaling crew. Once the whale is harpooned, as they've done for thousands of years, villagers meet the successful crew to help haul the whale in. Up to 14 boats will attach one to another to make one big pulling machine.
Ask them which side you should be on.
Today, the whale hunters use radios to communicate. Their ancestors would raise a flag on the highest point of their skin boats, telling the villagers, we've got a whale. Heading home now with the whale, the flag is still used. And like the older times, once the boat reaches shore, a runner is sent to the home of the whaling captain, where another flag is raised, where it remains flying until the feasting and celebrations are over.
In 1973, 20 Barrow families moved by snow machine to a site 154 miles southeast of Barrow on the Colville River. They wanted to establish a new village in this traditional subsistence hunting and fishing area. Until the Arctic Slope Regional Corporation funded construction of housing in 1974, the village of Nuiqsut was a tent city. Nuiqsut was incorporated as a second-class city in 1975. According to a 1990 census, there are about 354 permanent residents of the village, and quite a few of them participated in the village's 20th birthday party on August 13 and 14.
The accomplishments of the city of Nuiqsut are a shining example of what can be done with the humblest of beginnings. Although you started out with a few resources and little guidance or examples to follow, the rest of us can now look up to you for your strength and leadership. And the story of Nuiqsut is a modern-day testimonial to the strength, courage, and determination of Inupiaq people. And we must continue to live by the example of this community and not rely on others for us to survive and to thrive in the 21st century.
I just noted the determination that was needed to make the new village thrive.
We have to commend the first settlers here. When they first settled back into Nuiqsut, they were living in tents and children were going to school in tents, and that does take a lot of courage and determination.
Where the sun never sets and the leaves never fade, and the righteous forever will shine like the sun in that beautiful city of gold.
We pride ourselves on being the very first program to bring you Native American news and information, news from a Native perspective. Heartbeat Alaska began years and years ago, and since that time we included Native American, Canadian Native, and Alaska Native music videos from the very first program. Music videos like these.
I would like to introduce to you Priscilla Coolidge, Laura Satterfield, and Rita Coolidge.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Heartbeat Alaska. We sure appreciate you. Heartbeat Alaska is made for you, created for you, to give you an alternative to the regular programming that you see on television. We pride ourselves on being honest and true, and our stories reflect the real lives of our people in remote villages and on the reservations across America. God bless every one of you. We look forward to serving you in the year 2000. Give us a call, and we'll see you again next week.
Ukiu mutalti